All right. Well, Adam, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
I don't have much of an intro yet. I don't have much of a, so I'm happy you're here.
Yeah, tell me about yourself, and we'll get into all the stuff.
All right. Yeah. I mean, no, I want you to tell me.
I'm going to tell you about me.
Stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, please. Let's
Well,
hear
my name is
about
Adam Foreman, and I'm the co-owner of the Flower Company here in Broken Arrow. We've been open since October of 2020, open right in the middle of the pandemic, which is an adventure, but it's also really good. We specialize in like modern floral designs. We specialize in just creating custom florals for whatever your budget, whatever your need, whatever your occasion, and just make it with a really fun flair that's not seen in like everyday traditional flowers.
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit about that, because I went to your website and I didn't do a whole lot of research, but I know you said like changing the floral game, and I'm like, that's a bold statement,
right?
Statement. So I want to hear about it.
Well, a lot of flower shops subscribe to a wire service, and you've seen them, FTD, Teleflora, that kind of stuff, where they get a formula. It belongs to a third party. That floral shop gets that formula, has to make that exact thing according to specifications by a wire service. But the catch is that flower shop only gets a percentage of money to make that. So let's say you pay $80 online. The flower shop will probably get $65 to make your $80 arrangement. So then when it's done and they send it out, the person that receives it's like, oh, that's nice. But the person who sent it's like, that's not what I sent you. So we don't belong to a wire service. We cut it out completely. Everything you do, every dollar you spend with us goes directly into the florals. So that's kind of a savings, but also like you give me $80, you're going to get $80 worth of material or $80 worth of product. And that just goes a long way because we know that it's hard-earned money. You choose to spend it with us because we're a luxury industry. So we're going to give you everything that you can get with your money.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, when I've bought my wife flowers, it's been Trader Joe's was always a go-to.
Hey, Trader Joe's is great.
Good flowers
they have
there.
great flower selection.
They last for a while,
actually.
But I think about the place that I did order when I ordered a nice bouquet for her to be delivered, and it definitely, thinking back, was definitely one of those services.
Yeah, and some shops, that's great, and they thrive on that. We just know that we want to provide a more custom experience with you, especially if you're like, hey, she's really into white flowers and make it modern. Okay, let's do it. And so that's what our look is for our flowers. It's very modern. It's very fun. The aesthetic is not like anything you've seen in your traditional flower shops.
And you have the same model where people can come to the website and they can see what you offer, and that's they can order it that way, or is it more
our biggest strength, honestly, is our social media, because we have Instagram and Facebook pages, and we put a post usually every day. So there's a post almost every day of our different product, and that's at the Flower Cobier on Instagram and Facebook. While you're there,
good plug.
Go check it out. Yeah, and it shows you how bright and vivid and exciting, and you can kind of look at that. But then again, it's a little deceiving because those flowers that we had yesterday may not be the flowers we have today. We'll talk about it, and if you give us like a 1 or 2 day advance, we could probably get you anything you need. And that's what we like about that.
Very cool. Well, I mean, so how do you get into an industry like this? Because I mean, we didn't talk much about it before. We wanted to make sure we saved it for the podcast.
Sure, absolutely.
You are not in an industry anywhere near this.
I am not. I am not a florist. I never have been. I happen to marry a florist, my husband. He's the one who is the actual chief designer there at the flower shop, and he's been doing floral for 25 years. He's been doing it since he was in his teens. His aunt owned a shop here in Broken Arrow. He learned through her and went through the thing. So he was working for all these people, doing great work. And then when the pandemic hit and kind of everybody had to reset, we had to assess, like, okay, what are we doing? And he was working for another company, a great company, and we were doing all kinds of different things. And I said, what if we did this ourselves? What do we need to do? So I actually grabbed my sister, who's my co-owner, and I said, let's sit down and let's talk about it. So we racked his brain. Okay, give us all your 25 plus years of experience. What do we need to successfully run a flower shop? So we went through all the prices, went through all the equipment, and said, okay, here's what we need. And so we looked at each other and said, let's just do it. And the advantage of it happening in the pandemic is that people couldn't be around each other. So a lot of people sent flowers. They sent to say, hey, thinking of you. So that really didn't cripple our business the way another business was crippled that was solely reliant on people being there constantly. So we just became a little messenger between people to be like, thinking of you, wish you well. Hey, heard you got COVID. Here's something to brighten your spirits. We got right in the middle of that, and somehow it just went wow, and took off.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, how that timing worked out, but I guess it makes sense that it kind of, not help, but I mean, in a way, it was kind of a time where it was like, hey, this is something that we can do for people.
Yeah.
I mean, not like in the same way I would imagine. I came from Minnesota, so, all it was different. We won't get much into COVID talk, but
we should leave that in the past.
Exactly. Yeah, trying to blot that confusing time out, that blip in the timeline. But I would imagine it was hard on restaurants.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure even early on down here, I'm sure it was very hard on restaurants.
People had to pivot. They
Yeah.
had to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and luckily we were in that industry that it worked from the jump.
Yeah.
And then as the pandemic wore down, we thought, okay, what are we going to do? So we kind of had to keep changing and shaping, but still staying on our first focus, which is flowers. That was actually one of our early slogans when we started working, is that flowers first. Because a lot of shops will have lots of gifts and lots of, plush animals and stuff. We really don't do any of that. In fact, the only product we even have in our store that would have an overhead is a candle line that we did that we actually still do. It's called On Brand, and it's our signature scent that we had developed. That's the only other product we have. Everything else is all flowers and plants. So that keeps that overhead minimum, but it also keeps us focused. Like, I'm sure we could go get a balloon, tank and do all that stuff, but let's focus on the flowers.
Yeah, or like I've seen like candy bouquets.
Right. And those
like
are
that.
great in that purpose. And sometimes that is perfect, but we have to make sure we kind of keep our eye on the bottom line.
You do one thing and you do it really well.
And perfect it, yes.
Perfect it. And so your typical client, is it somebody who is sending flowers to someone, or do you do like events and do you do like bigger arrangements?
That's a great segue.
There we go.
Thank you. So we actually have a wide range of clients. We have our everyday just customers, some that come in and do our walk-in stuff. We have tons of people that just call us and we do deliveries, but we have a lot of corporate clients that we do weekly arrangements for, or that if they say, hey, we're having this little event, we need 5 or 6 arrangements. We also have ones that have giant 60-table galas. We've done all those. We've done a little bit of weddings. We kind of shy away from weddings, and the only reason I say that is because weddings take so much time that we could do more in everyday retail business without the weddings, and we've done them and we don't mind them, but we're kind of like focus more on that with if it's like somebody we know, somebody we really know, like, hey, please do my wedding. Sure, we'd be happy to do that.
There's a little bit of stress around a wedding too. And,
it is. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, the decision-making process,
Right.
I would imagine, is pretty long sometimes too, and making sure things are perfect because they need all these other
Right.
things.
Well, think
to
about your
fall into
wedding.
place. Yep.
How much planning did you do with your soon-to-be bride when you were doing your wedding?
Oh yeah.
So many decisions.
Yeah.
The flowers are one of those that if you get it wrong, you have ruined their entire day.
Yeah, see, I don't even think I was invited in on the floral discussion now that I think back on that, which is slightly offensive.
Right?
I like
Yeah,
flowers.
I would
Come on
demand
now.
a recount, So we just kind of stay away from that. But what we do like to do is sympathy arrangements for memorials and funerals, because that is somebody that they come to us and say, here's what this person meant to me. Now say it in flowers. And that is something that my husband and staff are really good at, just like talking to people, empathizing with them, and be like, all right, let's make this great. And we've had stuff where people have put keepsakes in like a casket piece, like we had a doctor, and so his stethoscope was in the thing. And it's just really meaningful and beautiful stuff that really makes an impression on people. And I can't tell you how many people have come back afterwards and said, you did my husband's flowers, I'm using you from now on for everything. So that kind of marketing you can't really buy, but boy, you can sure word of mouth that and get that response from somebody just for that special day.
And so COVID time was when you acquired this location?
Yeah, October of 2020 is when we opened, and it's on North Main Street, just north of the Brio Apartments there. If everybody knows where State Beauty Supply is in this town, they know exactly where we're at, because it's like a hub of everything State Beauty Supply. Of course, I use it all the time, my wonderful haircut. But when we opened at that point in that shop, like, we didn't realize if we were going to have the foot traffic. One thing that is really advantageous for us where we're at is that we have a parking lot, which people have told us, like, I go downtown in the Rose District and it's so hard to find somewhere to park. you guys always have a lot, so it's easy just to come in and zip in and grab something and go. So we're very, very blessed that we have a parking lot in front of our business.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Rose District, but yeah, sometimes it is like, I gotta walk a block.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
I mean, especially if you're in a hurry. To,
Well,
you know,
we also have a lot of elderly customers,
There you go.
and
Yeah.
so we know that that's great for them, that they don't have to get out of their car and walk 2 blocks. And sometimes we'll say, "Let us come out to you," and because we kind of have those customers over the last 5 years that we know, and we know, oh, there's Verna, let's go talk to you. You know, we have that kind of connection with those customers that we've made and built that reputation with them.
how fun has it been? Being in business now long enough to have those repeat customers.
It's essentially fuels our business, because if you don't have the people that you take care of first, then you repeat and they tell their friends. You don't have that word of mouth, which we know word of mouth is stronger than any advertising you can do, and it's also on par with reviews. I mean, Google reviews make or break a business, especially small businesses.
100%.
And if we don't strive to get that 5-star every time, then we haven't done what we're supposed to do. And we've obviously done something wrong. We've seen other small businesses that we're friends with that have gotten like a 2 or 3 review, and they're just pulling their hair out going, why? I don't know why. We've had a review or two where we're like, wait a minute, why did you give us that review? Because we want somebody to come to us first and say, I was not happy with this. And we'll say, okay, let's make it right.
Yes.
It's very rare that happens, because I'm going to, knock on wood and throw sort that we've done a really good job with our customers. But we want to make sure that if we didn't, we're going to fix it.
Yes.
And we're going to make it right with you. And I know all the other small businesses rely and thrive on that for their livelihood.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, to people, especially being down here, there are a lot of still like businesses run on a handshake and,
it's mom and
a
pop
conversation.
town,
But I mean, the reality is no matter how many Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Google ads you can run,
Correct.
Nothing ever is going to top. You tell me that they did great work, I'm going to go hire them.
That's the place you go right now.
Shortly behind that, they don't know somebody who has hired you or bought your flowers, but they can read all these people who've had experiences with you. And every business at some point is going to get someone who refuses to be made happy.
Oh, absolutely.
And it is what it is. And we know, and it's a bummer. You can give them as many flowers as you want. They're
You
not
just
gonna be
pat them on the
happy.
back and say, "You're bless your little heart," and you just send them on, down the line.
But I mean, I love that is the goal, is to serve the customers
Absolutely.
the best way possible. And if something goes wrong, make it right.
Every day. And I get data from our sales, and I always look at 2 numbers every single day: returning customers and new customers. And they're usually 50-50. So that means I'm doing the right thing. If it was like 9 new customers and 0, something's off. We're doing something wrong. So I look at those stats and those trends and make sure that, yes, we are fulfilling that. Yes, we are a service that you come back to repeatedly. That's something that we have an advantage over, let's say, a car dealer. You're going to buy a car, but you're not going to buy one every day. You're not going to buy one every year. You might go back in 10 years and get a car. Mm-hmm. We have to make sure that we have it where you will come back next week because you were just so happy with what we did. Or you come back and send your friend over because they took care of me. Mm-hmm. That is what we strive for every single time.
No, that's super cool. And you've made it past the 5-year mark that, they always, I don't know if it's
the dreaded 5-year mark. Yeah.
It's now you're a seasoned business, and you've gone through all these systems in the process. And I'd be curious. I'm always curious to ask, what was one of the biggest things that coming in was entirely different than what you expected? If there's anything that comes to mind.
I've got a story for you.
Here we go.
So a lot of the flower shops around national, this is just a trend, they're all about these giant $100 plus, big arrangements. Well, my husband got the bright idea to make little bitty ones, like grab and go ones that are like $15 to $20, and we call them cubes, is what we nickname them, because they're usually in a little cube, and they're just tiny little things that we have in the cooler. And someone will come in like, I need to get my secretary something, and they just come in, grab it, and go, and they're not having to spend $60, $70. So when we started doing those in the beginning, we were surprised at how fast they were going. And because we thought, much like the national trends, we'd have to build these giant $100 plus arrangements. So we nicknamed it the house that cubes built, because of these little bitty things just sent out that signal of you can go in and grab it and go, and you can take it to lunch to a friend who's not feeling good. And we still do that to this day. We always have cubes in our cooler ready to go. In fact, people will come and go, you got those little things there? I need to grab a little thing. And they just know. And that just keeps bringing them back. And we also started a Cube Club, which is a little card, the little punch card. And after you get so many punches, then you get either get $25 off a big arrangement, or you get a $25 arrangement free after you've had so many. So just, give them that enticement to come back. We didn't know that would be that until after we opened the doors, and it's like, okay, cubes are the way to go. And of course, we do the big arrangements, absolutely, and there's time and place for that. But when you're just running to lunch with an old friend and you haven't seen in a while, you just want to just make it special. Zip in, grab that, go. Okay, thanks. See you later. That's what we want to do. Be convenient, but also be elegant at the same time.
I like that. Convenient and elegant.
Right. That's how I've been described every day of my life.
Convenient and elegant.
That's horribly untrue.
Well, you were here early, so I mean that's convenient, and you seem elegant thus far. So no, no. I mean,
you poor thing. I gotta get to know me better.
No, I mean, and I really like the I like the punch card, the rewards program sort of idea that it's not a brand new thing, but you see it and it works, and it's a way to say thank you for your loyalty, thank you for coming back time and time again, and I think it's cool to see too some of the sort of joint marketing efforts, if you will, that I think the Chamber of Commerce is a part of, like the Buy BA stuff or different things that I've seen even businesses in the Rose District say, hey, us and this business, we're doing this little thing where if you come shop at each place, you get whatever. And
we participate in that in a way because we have other businesses that we've work hand in hand with. Just off the top of my head, the chocolate shop is one of them where when they did Valentine's is our Super Bowl. Well, one of our Super Bowls. We got one coming up in a few weeks. And they needed roses to give away. We're like, yeah, we'll take care of that. We help each other out. And I think in a community like this, you're only as strong as the small businesses that you align yourself with. Even other florists, like for instance, Book and Bloom, Penelope and Lou. Mm-hmm. We're friends with them. If they need a rose from us, we'll be like, yeah, look, we got 3. Or if we hey, do you have 5 peonies? Yeah, just that. You're not competing with each other. You're helping drive more economy for each other. And you're not trying to put somebody out of business. You're trying to support each other because you each have different clientele. Mm-hmm. Their clientele is way different than ours, and that's okay. But at least we know that we're there to serve the community overall. So, but I mentioned Super Bowl, Valentine's Day. We got Mother's Day coming up, and that's actually probably our biggest holiday of the year because everybody has a mother, I think. Historically, everybody does, and there's just so many varying shades of that mother. It could be the mother of your kids, it could be your mother, it could be your mother-in-law, and then since it's on a Sunday, people usually spread that holiday out throughout the whole week. So that week of Mother's Day is just intense at the shop. You should come by. I'll put you to work. I'll teach you how to clean a rose. We only have 3,000 when we bring it. And by the end of the day, you'll be like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. Because it's not glamorous. I mean, flowers are glamorous and it's really cool, but the preparation is a lot of work. I mean, it's a very physically demanding job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think of the very small amount of work when I buy one bouquet and I'm kind of trimming them. And
Right. Well, then you already have experience. Someone will bring you in. We'll strap a GoPro on your shoulder, my day in the flower shop. And by the end, you're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, maybe not a whole day, but I'll do a little bit.
Well, the Mother's Day runs from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's a day. It's a full day.
So it outpaces Valentine's Day by a lot.
It truly does. Well, I mean, they're kind of neck and neck, but because again, Mother's Day is usually spread out, whereas Valentine's Day is concentrated on one day. We kind of see more business with that, and everybody has the mother, but not everybody has a romantic interest. So there's more to give out in that time. But
so I mean, Valentine's Day wasn't that long ago. How crazy was it this year?
It was great because this year we had great weather, which really factors into flowers. People don't realize that if it's sub-zero cold, yes, flowers love cold. They do. We have a cooler and all that stuff. But if it's below freezing, flowers do not like cold. Mm-hmm. So if I've got hundreds of orders going out and the super cold and it zaps and kills those flowers, I've already ruined that person's Valentine's Day. So we have to make extra steps to make sure flowers don't do that. Mother's Day, traditionally, not a lot of cold weather, so it does right. It's not too boiling. It's not sub-zero. But yeah, Valentine's Day is always a challenge of what's the weather going to be like. Our very first Valentine's Day we did in 21, sleet, snow. I wrecked my car delivering that day. I mean, it was a learning experience for us, but it's just gotten better and better each year.
Well, I don't even know how. I think from Minnesota, the florists there.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine.
In the wintertime, I'm like, that'd be quite brutal.
Well, what you have to do, I'll tell you an industry secret. Listen, insider, you have to wrap them in cellophane, but that way the wind doesn't just penetrate and just kill those stems and so. Yeah, you kind of give them a little greenhouse.
I learned a rough version of the equivalent of an extra your big plastic bag from Trader Joe's or from wherever.
absolutely.
You put it over the top. You gotta,
you gotta take care of
them.
them
To the car.
That's
and
right.
Have the car at least somewhat warm. And yeah, so I mean, you have Valentine's Day and Mother's Day are your Super Bowl events,
That's the ones,
like you
yes.
said. Then the rest of the year is pretty steady with people ordering for loved ones or for memorials or things
Right.
along those lines. How does it kind of? I mean, I feel like I'm asking you a lot of like your sales.
You can
data,
ask me
but,
anything
like,
you want. I'm an open book.
But I mean, how is it kind of percentage wise when it comes to types of arrangements that you're selling at your
Well,
shop?
it's ebb and flow, but it's also the holidays. So during the fall, we do a lot of really cool fall inspired arrangements. Christmas is all the sparkle. Oh, I think it's touchroom equipment. The sparkling and the funny stuff. And then summer, people love a good summer arrangement. It just depends on the season, but it's ebb and flow. Sometimes if people are on vacation, they're not ordering a lot of flowers. But if people are back from school, it gets really big. We kind of say that the J months are the ones in the floral industry that are a little slow. January, because you just came off Christmas and you're getting ready to go on Valentine's Day. June and July. Because June and July, people are on vacations and it's summer break and they're just kind of going. So florists kind of plan their year and try to get the momentum up for the sales to kind of take care of when there's a lull in what would be a traditional season.
No,
so just insider secrets.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and those are the things that it's like, that's what keeps you in business.
Absolutely.
Is understanding what the seasons are and being prepared. Because if you weren't ready for Valentine's Day, if you weren't ready for Mother's Day.
That's correct. Yeah, you just might as well just hang it up. We also, when we went into business, we decided very early that we were not going to just jump in full throttle and go buy all the things and get all the things, because I've watched businesses do that and then they just topple in 6 months. So there was a lot of growing and struggle because we had to make ends meet where we could, because we just weren't ready yet to hire that next person, to purchase that next cooler. And then, of course, as the business grew and as the results happened, you can do that. But we made very sure to be extremely fiscally conservative in the very beginning as to not go belly up.
Yeah, the lean startup, you gotta stay as lean as you can.
Well, I tell people this is not my real job. I actually have an actual real job. I just happen to own a flower shop. And so in the very beginning, I was literally going on my lunch hour, delivering a flower, and then going back to work, because that's what you had to do. We didn't have a delivery driver in the beginning. We didn't have a delivery van. You make those sacrifices to make sure that it's going to succeed and build. And it was hard. And we look back on it now and go, oh, wasn't that terrible? But then when you're in it, you're like, gosh, this is so hard. But you pay your dues and you work and you know that you built something that's going to last.
I want to go into that a little bit if
Let's
we can,
go.
because I'm
so ready.
I really love that's kind of like the founder story of like the reality versus like kind of like what's presented outwardly of like what a business is, and especially for me as a younger entrepreneur, anytime I'm talking
Probably
to
in
people,
your late 20s,
I'm
early
25.
30s. I'm
25.
Want to just punch you through the wall right now. I say that because I'm in my 40s, so like 20s, I remember that.
No, but I mean, it's just like, I think that something that my generation, every generation, but really my generation can fall into, because we've seen people who are like, whether it's influencers or or it's people who build businesses overnight, and they're like, here's how I did this, and it's few and far between of the reality when the small businesses in communities are truly the backbone of every area.
Right. So I've seen those though. You've seen those. Like, I did this overnight, and you can too.
And it's hard not to be like, I started this thing, it hasn't broken through yet. Pivot or give up or go do whatever. So I mean, I guess I'm just curious to hear you working another job, being like, I believe in this enough that I'm going to go on my lunch break to do this, and I'm going to keep going. And if there are any points where you're like,
well, and my sister, who's my co-owner, I mentioned that before, she did the same thing. She works another complete job. We just happened to co-own. We both made the sacrifices. We had great family and friends that surrounded us and said, what can I do to help? Mm-hmm. That was a key in launching us, because we had friends that were in, not even in the floral industry. It was like, can I help you find this? I found this thing. What would you guys like? Or people who are our accountants, who are friends, like, let me get your book started. Let me get your articles of incorporation ready so you can be an LLC. Things like that, that if we would would have had to go out and pay professionals to do that we didn't know would have just sunk us from the beginning, that people do all the time, and I don't know how they do it. If you know, let me know.
Yeah.
But because of that family and friends that surrounded us, we were able to do that easily. And it was hard, but the landing was a little softer because we had so much support. And really that has to do with my husband and his amazing design skills, because without him, there's no product, there's no business. So he is the brains of the whole operation. We're just all supporting him and doing all the things around behind the scenes so he can focus on designing. So we take care of the marketing, the accounting, the banking, all that stuff, so he can just do your thing, make us some money, and let us take care of the rest.
Well, I mean, and it's pretty easy to sell when it's a product that you fully believe in.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
If it's a product you believe in wholeheartedly, then, you know, you're going to go out and sell it to everyone. You're going to be like, I believe in this. We're going to make it right. Like,
Yeah. When somebody comes in and said, I've never heard of you, I'm like, oh, that hurts my heart. But then I also know, because they're so used to just run-of-the-mill florist, and that's just not us. But when we do kind of hook them and bring them in, they're like, oh, I'm not going anywhere else. And that's a great thing to hear when they say that. We get that quite often, actually. Like, you're my go-to person now. This is it. You guys are it. And that's a great feeling. Because, they know that the product is good. We have a reputation of our flowers lasting a good long time. It's because we go shop at our distributor almost every other day. So you're getting the freshest of flowers. You're not getting ones that were bought on Monday and went through the weekend and came back and was set there for a week. And we pride ourselves on that, because it might be too much selection, but my husband will go, nope, that's not going out the door. That's unsellable. And we're like, why? It looks great. Nope, that flower's got one petal. It's gross. Nope, it's going out. But because of that very meticulous look at our product, we're able to keep that reputation of long-lasting flowers, which is a big deal when you spend that much money on a luxury item, which I know I keep saying, but we are a luxury industry. Yeah. We don't have to exist, but we do exist because people believe in the product just like we do.
And when it's good that you know that it is a luxury industry,
100%.
Because if, and I see business owners with the best of intentions in the services that they provide, sometimes selling themselves short, where they don't realize their service is a luxury, but they love what they do so much they can't wrap their mind around charging people enough money for the service itself, that they just run themselves into the ground. Because if it's not that you have to be the most expensive out there and you have to but like you said, it's a luxury service. I mean, I think of even something as simple as when I was running my window cleaning business. That's not a needed service. That is a luxury. People don't need it. I could sell myself and be like, ooh, this is too much. I'm thinking about it through the mind. Like, are people going to buy this? It's like, no, there's a market for it. It's an industry. If people don't want to spend what it is for the luxury arrangements, they'll go to Walmart. They'll go to Trader Joe's.
They'll just clean their own window. Yeah, absolutely.
Or they'll clean their own windows, or they'll clean their own car, or whatever it may be. But no, I don't know. I kind of geek out on some of that. But maybe it's a little bit lame. But
I kind of commit some cardinal sins sometimes, because if someone comes in and they obviously don't really have the money or funds to do what they want to do, I'll just stop them and say, this is terrible salesman of me, but keep your money. Go use it somewhere. Like, don't spend that here with flowers, because I can see that you're really trying to mean something, but also we're luxury. Go do something that you need to do. And that's a terrible salesman, and I don't recommend that to anybody.
Yeah, it might not be.
But
though.
I see that in them, and I think your need is not as great as what you think you need with flowers. Let's do something else.
I mean, it might be what makes them refer someone to you, though, because I think that, to me, what I would see, like, I guess maybe by the book of like getting that sale, but you don't, like, with what I'm doing, with what you're doing, with what you don't want a pressure sale. You don't want anyone working with you because they don't want to hire you. And the reality is too, and this is where it goes with luxury services, if somebody, just to be blunt, if somebody is lower income and they're stretched financially for your service, and one small minor thing, they're going to be really analytical of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, our worst clients were our cheapest clients because it's stretched them so much. And we were like, maybe you do need the $100 guy who's going to do not as great a job. And that for us is like, after learning through that, we're like, okay, yes, we aren't for everyone.
Right, absolutely.
But
But when you do need us, we'll be here. We'll be ready.
And we're here.
There was a sweet little story from Valentine's Day. I had a lady come in with, I think it was her niece. Niece was about 5, real tiny thing. She came in and she wanted to buy flowers for her mom, and so they got some out of the cooler and brought it to me. And it wasn't very much. I think it was maybe $25. And the lady said, she's going to hand you some cash, and then I'm going to take care of the rest on a card. So the sweet little girl pushed her little envelope across that had I think it had maybe $12 in it, that she worked. I guess she told me, I remember she said she worked 4 months to save up this money. So she gave it to me, and the lady, I took the difference off and paid her. And then when the little girl turned around, I just handed that. I'm like, give this back to her. She doesn't need to spend that with me. She was so happy to do something for her mom that I was like, no, that like touched my heart. And so I just slid it back to her. And the aunt just looked at me and she's like, thank you so much. I was like, hey, that's what we do here. We care about the people. We don't care about the customer that is just a number. We don't care about the customer that's just, you're coming in, you exchange and go. Like, we want to build those relationships. And she's been back ever since, because that's what you do, is you make people know that you care about them and their circumstances and anything else. Sometimes our shop is like Cheers. People come in, they tell us their stories, we talk to them, and then you build that bond, and then they remember that for the rest of the time and just keep coming back. Make those connections every time.
Well, I mean, that's how the majority of business, you're not building a business off of one-time clients.
Correct.
That's not sustainable at all.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what's going to burn you. I mean, if people only come to your shop once and they're never coming back, like you said, I mean, you're in the analytics of seeing who's returning and whatever. If everyone was new clients, that would point that you got a problem.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
I'd need to reaffirm what I'm doing in life if I'm doing that.
Well, I mean, you'd just be, I mean, it's just, you couldn't do it. I mean, and it's cool to hear, like, you have people who, because I would go out on a limb and say, those people who are coming back to you time and time again, I mean, it's probably even hard to track how many people they've sent to you. Oh, yeah,
absolutely. Well, but it is hard to track, but we always hear it like, oh, so-and-so said to come see you. We actually have people that we've never met before that when we open in 2020 are now friends of ours because they come in there. But it's not just a transaction between us. Now they come in, sit down, hang out. What's going on? Oh, my gosh, my daughter did this. And we've built relationships with people, which is phenomenal. But we also built relationships with people who happen to be in small businesses. So, like, we can say, all right, well, we're going to get our insurance through you, and we're going to do our personal finance through you. Like, and they didn't come there to do that, but it just happened that way because they were personable too. And that's what you have to do, is build those relationships with another person to boost both of your businesses in a positive way, but you also get a great relationship out of it. We love that part of it.
Because it's so organic.
Absolutely. Nothing was calculated. Nothing came out of nowhere. And we love that they just come by and hang out and visit. If they buy something, great. But if not, we've made that friend that we know they're going to be back because we've established that with them, and we know that flowers are their thing, but we also got that added bonus of being in a genuine friendship with somebody.
That's super cool. I mean, I would imagine being on Main Street is a fun time as well. I mean, you're a little bit further than people are typically walking when there's events and stuff like that.
But we've got a parking lot.
But you've got a parking lot. You've got a parking lot. No,
I'll repeat that over and over again. Yeah.
I mean, do you know if, like, I know the Rose District is going to have a lot of things changing over the years, and they want it to expand and they want to see it grow. Well, do you know how far up? Are you far up enough that would people? I mean, do people walk from the Rose District?
They do a lot of times because, since we're next to the Brio and there is stuff in that first floor that's nail spa, restaurants, we do have people that have come over there. Sometimes they park down in this way and walk upwards. Yeah, I mean, we would love if the Rose District kept expanding further north. That would be awesome. I know they hit some roadblocks because there's a lot of housing and things like that. The commerce kind of stops really right after us, because right north of us is like the Hub Gym and the coffee shop, and then it's houses. So hopefully that will continue to integrate, because that's what they're trying to do too, is get residential and commercial to kind of be harmonious in that area. They've done a pretty good job of it so far, but we'd be happy to help anchor that as well.
Yeah, super cool. Well, so the Broken Arrow community, like, I mean, I've found since I've been here, especially the business owners, there are so many great business owners who really, like yourself, want to see other businesses win. And I think that the root of what I'm trying to do is, like, find those businesses who believe in having that abundance mindset. There's more than enough to go around.
Absolutely.
It's such a booming area. I'm one of the people who added to the area coming
Right,
here.
right.
Like I'm one of the people who saw the Rose District, who saw Broken Arrow, who heard that it's a good place to live and raise a family, and I'm like, I want to be there as well. So I'll try to get to a question. My question really, oh my goodness,
with a question.
No, what started the podcast, and I'm like, it's just a conversation. This could be pretty easy,
Right?
But
has it been that way for you?
no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Yes and no. With a guest like you, I feel like yes.
Right.
With some guests, this is no knock on anybody. Some people just want to be interviewed more.
Right.
So when
trying to draw
when
something
you
out
can
of them.
kind of when I'm like at an awkward sticking point, to be like, I need to save him.
Yeah.
No, but really, my question is just like, how can the Broken Arrow community support your business right now?
Well, that's the word community that you use. That's the perfect word, because you could be in a town and that's great, but if you don't have community within that town, then you don't have anything. We have tried really hard to build that community over the last 6 years by what I talked about with making friends with people, with not trying to just be, this is our commerce and you're mean nothing to us. Just keep reaching out. For us, it's Google reviews. For us, it's just coming by and spending your hard-earned money with us. For us, it's recommending and grassroots campaign of letting people know about us. In our 6 years, and this is the God's honest truth, we've only taken out one advertising ever. We've only had one advertising that we ever spent money on. Everything else has been word of mouth and social media. Not a lot of businesses can say that. Some people have a marketing budget just for advertising. That is a huge chunk of their revenue. We don't have to have that. I'm sure we could do some more advertising if we wanted to, but then again, it would be what you talked about, where we'd have the one and done customer. Well, we don't want a one and done customer. We want you to come back and back and back, use us for every occasion you have in every part of your life, and then tell your friends that. Mm-hmm. So that's how you could support us, is just keep coming back and just keep telling people, this is who I trust. You don't have to even think about it. You say, this is who you are, go for it, and then they keep coming back. That's what we need.
That's great. I mean, that's super cool. I mean, and just the connections that you're making with other businesses in the area too.
Absolutely.
And just your time there. I would be, I mean, I'm not going to put you on the spot with this, but I would be curious to hear if some of your ideas too, of just how the businesses can really rally in that area. And I mean, I know that the Rose District is really the hub of Broken Arrow,
right.
Kind of the main street.
And it didn't used to be, if you know the history.
No, I mean,
it used to be dead.
I've talked to a few people who were there really early on, and they're like, this was not what it was.
I've been in Broken Arrow since 2002, and 24 years ago, it was not the case. It was basically just a dead street that was bustling during the day, but as soon as 5 o'clock hit, ghost town. Of course, there wasn't the farmer's market back then. The museum wasn't there. So many things that have helped drive that. The PAC wasn't built yet. That wasn't built till 2009. And that kind of cemented that area, like, as we call it, the crown jewel, and then made everything else kind of flourish from there. So it was a very calculated way to get that all done. But now it just keeps multiplying. And you can see they've got the City Go bond that's going to be out there. If that passes, it's going to expand it even further. I mean, it's just, you can't deny the quality of life that the Rose District has brought to Broken Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the renderings of the future farmers market and just the expansion.
Yeah.
I mean, that alone is huge.
Well, and I sit on the board of directors for Arts OK, which has the 302 Arts Building right there on downtown. Yeah. So I have just as much investment in that as well, because I want to see that expand, which is also part of the bond project. Just all that, nothing bad can cover it, because it just brings more community and more focus and more families, and that of course drives commerce, and commerce drives business, and you can't lose with how much you make that area thrive.
Which is what I love to see is I feel like we're the most connected we've ever been connected.
Absolutely.
with digital, social media technology, whatever it may be. And that's where I with what I'm trying to do, I'm like, how do we bring what has always worked, which is actual community,
absolutely,
to meet the new, marketing, advertising, and leverage that for the growth of organic community.
Oh, 100%,
and kind of the merging of the two, as I was running Facebook ads and website design and stuff like that.
Right.
And, and there are elements of that I do like, but just selling ads, to me, I don't enjoy it.
Right.
And for the clients that I do it for, we do a great job, and I get it done. But I love the idea that, like, hey, there's more reach when we can rally a group of people behind a common goal, which is what the kind of the best in BA is going to become. It's like the best in BA is businesses like yourself. It's businesses who see their business down the street in the same industry as them, and they're like, I want to see you win.
Oh, absolutely.
They're not like, I want them to die out so that I don't have competition.
No, because competition breeds more success. It really, truly does. I'll tell you another added bonus I've had. I just kind of thought about this.
Please.
Being in this community for almost 25 years now, I have been able to be a part of so many different boards of directors, museum, the Arts at 302, been helped with the Chamber of Commerce, keep Broken Arrow beautiful, working with Broken Arrow schools. Because of my connections to that and being in the community and serving in all those boards and in those groups has helped me make all those connections, which led to the success of the business because I already knew a lot of those people. That's what I want to encourage anybody, yourself included. Get in there with the community, join a board, join a community group, just do something that puts you in there with people that they always talk about being in the room. Get in the room where it happens. Get in there with people that have been in this community for 25 years. Get in the community with people who've been here for 50 years. Do that because once you establish yourself with all those people, it's so easy for them to be like, oh yeah, so and so has this shop. That's what you need to go do. So I think that helped also bring an advantage to our flower shop that I wasn't just a transplant into this community and just started something. No offense, because you've only been here since June.
No, for sure.
But I love what you're doing. But you're young and you have the opportunity just to jump in there. I was 22 years old when I joined this community, and now I'm not 22 years old. But because of the time invested, it has helped me tremendously to be able to do that and make these choices that benefit everybody, but also keep those connections going. It's just I keep saying the word community, but I truly do believe in that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, no, I love that. I mean, and it's like they saw your character through all of it, and they saw like what you represented in all these different things. They're like, you could go start probably anything, and they're gonna be like, yes, I'm in.
But then they get confused. They're like, wait a minute, aren't you with so and so? That's my favorite thing when I'm at our shop on Saturdays is someone will walk in and they'll kind of give me a sideways look and go, what are you doing here? So I wear many hats to cover my bald head, so this is just one of the other hats that I wear.
I love it. I love it. No, that's great. I want to make sure before we wrap up so if people want flowers, what's the best way? Pop in online?
Give us a call. The best thing is a call. It's 918-957-5055. Or you also go to our website, flowercoba.com, which in the beginning people thought it said flowercobra.com. We thought about getting a cobra as a pet, in the store. Flowercoba.com, and then the phone number, and you can Google us and find us, the Flower Company. That is the best way because we want to talk to you and say, all right, tell me what your budget is, what's their favorite color, what's the occasion, and we can do something exactly perfect for their special day and for your money.
Yeah,
honestly.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I feel like we hit everything.
I feel like you got to come hang out at the shop, and I'm gonna put you to work, and it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be like, I quit.
Labor.
Yeah, we'll get you some flowers for your labor.
All right. Hey, that's a fair trade. Trade a little trade of service.
That's right. That's right.
For some flowers.
Supporting another business.
My wife would be happy about that.
We always say we will make your wife so happy. We'll be her best friend by the end of the day.